Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bikinis After Babies. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, I am one of your hosts, Mandy Rashawn, here with your other host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Jillian Hughes.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're watching us on Spotify or on YouTube, yes, I still have my show tan on. We're in the creepy, peely, crepey phase
Hmm.
because today is 4 days post show.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about that a little bit and some updates and just a few other sort of like show day related things that have become hot topics among our clients and in the industry. So, but first, Mandy, would you like to give like a little recap of what you've been up to?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like a lot has like gone on in these like last 2 weeks between the both
Hmm.
of us. So on our last episode, if you guys heard, we were both, Jillian was getting ready for her show. I was getting ready for my egg retrieval, and both happened to be in Colorado. So I went for my minor surgery, which was my egg retrieval. And with that, I was very nervous. I was hoping to get 8 eggs. The more, the merrier, of course, because in case you guys don't know, in IVF, it's never a guarantee. So just because you get so many eggs, a lot of them, they say about 50% don't make it to the full, like mature stages and then growth. So I started with four. Three of them matured, and then I got two that are really good, healthy embryos. So those two little guys or girls are getting tested for the next couple weeks. I keep saying little, like little guys, and I'm like,
Do
well, it
you
could be
get to find
girls.
out the gender of
I
them?
can if I want to, yes.
Are you going to?
No. We decided that once we get our genetic testing back, which should be July 1st, I have it marked on my calendar. Um, Whichever one is the healthiest will be the first one we try. And when you do your transfer, it's not a surgery, it's just they implant the embryo, you wait 14 days and then take a pregnancy test. They tell you basically to treat yourself like you are pregnant, like the day
Mhm.
of transfer, and that like you basically are until proven otherwise. So we're just going to pick the healthiest one. So rather it's a boy or girl, we won't know.
Yeah, because
And
if you had like a boy and a girl, and then you were like, oh, like, I feel like that would
mhm,
be so hard. Like
yeah.
maybe once you've like implanted the first one and have a baby, and you have like one little eggy like in the freezer, maybe you can find out
Mhm.
what it is, and then
We can.
like you can't just leave it there, right? So then you can have that one too, but then you know what it was,
So if
you know?
both of them are like perfectly healthy and like in a perfect world, if the first one sticks and I'm pregnant, give birth, and we have the other one, you pay for it to be in the freezer basically, for like it's like a monthly fee. And
Yeah.
then when your body is ready, we would try to transfer that one so we'd have kids back to back and
Oh,
then
are
be
you gonna,
done.
so you're gonna like are you gonna have Irish twins like in the same year?
I would hope
Oh
that would be really cool,
my
but like
gosh.
it's all up to our body, like my body, like just like
Yeah.
waiting to get a transfer. So like I have to wait for my lining to be thick enough, so all my blood work has to be right. Like my
Yeah.
certain hormones can't be too high, otherwise I won't accept it. So it's really, and the same with like after giving birth, you want your body to be like healthy and okay to carry
Hmm.
again and get pregnant again. So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of like,
This is
oh,
crazy. Like
I
this, I
know.
have never learned so much about this process, but it's like fascinating. Like it's
Yeah, it's
what a miracle. And like I remember when you had your egg retrieval and just like that whole day I was like at like my phone, like just waiting to hear from you and see how things went and just like I
it
don't know,
was
it's just the coolest thing.
it was surreal because I was like just like once you wake up, you're just like, how many? How many? Like you're
Yeah.
just so out of it, but you like know what's going on. So they first say, which I didn't know this was a thing, but they actually write it in a card and they will tell you. But I guess a lot of people like to find out with their spouse. So they actually write it in a card and hand it to you. And then you can like go out in the weight room with your spouse and then find out. But I was like, no, I
Yeah.
don't care. Tell me now. Tell me now.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
gosh.
but no, well, and the trip itself was fantastic. So, like, Colorado had beautiful weather. It was nice
Hmm.
and not too hot, not too chilly. And then we stayed an extra day just because that's what like they recommend for recovery in
Yeah.
case there's any issues. So we stayed an extra day, and Aaron got me a cute little cabin, and then he took me to get a facial because you can't like do much. I'm sore, I can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So really just a lot of rest and pampering. And then the next day, as we were driving home, he took me to go see mini cows because that is the
Yeah.
thing that will be added to our farm someday is mini cows. and
I
they're so
love it.
cute.
That's
Yeah.
so
So
awesome.
now it took about 4 days of recovery. And then then I finally was like, okay, I feel better. And then it was a few days after that, I'm like, I actually feel myself. Like I feel normal. Because
Hmm.
when you are on all those drugs, like it is crazy. Like I knew I wasn't right. Like I knew I didn't feel
Yeah.
right, but I didn't realize how not right I felt until like Sunday, Monday, and then I was like the following Sunday, Monday, I was like,
Oh, it is
whoa.
like no joke. Like when you think about how you feel, I don't know if anyone can really remember. I feel like I can like have flashbacks to my teenage years because I have a teenage daughter and the
Hmm.
way she acts and feels and the emotions, I can so remember that being like my experience, like going through like, the hormonal shifts and then of course like postpartum and what I went through
Mm,
there and then hormones changing mid 30s. And like if you think like you're like max dosing all those things in your body and like
hmm.
just how you feel like you were even saying just like how your body like physically felt, not only your emotions but like your temperament and everything. Like that is, for some people, that is the hardest part of this journey, is how
Yeah.
those hormones make you feel.
Yeah,
So
it took a long time for my stomach to heal too. Like my stomach was very sensitive to those
yeah,
shots. Like
it was black and blue.
I bruised and it was itchy. Like all the it was it was a total of 42 shots
Yeah.
of
Oh,
that part. And then once you get ready for your transfer, there's another round of shots, but I can't remember how many, or I can't remember exactly. I just know what shots of progesterone.
yeah,
Um, but I don't know how long that will last. So we'll just see.
yeah, yeah.
We'll see.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah. So now I'm back at the gym. I'm back to eating my food. I miss my
Yay.
food because for one, like we said before, I can't have like super high protein, but also a lot of things didn't taste good or sound good. So
Yeah.
like I just kind of ate whatever sounded good and would be
Mhm.
filling, and then I couldn't work out. So now I'm like back to the gym, back to meal prepping, and I like
And you were
just feel
so happy
myself.
on Monday, like you sent me the audio text, and you're like, I'm going to the gym. I'm so
Uh,
excited.
it's I just feel so much better. Like I just
Yeah.
feel clear, you know?
Yeah. It was like all the things that like you love, like coffee, going to the gym, like, like going on your like walks, like all these things that you were doing, like you had to do the opposite of all of that, like
Hmm.
rest and no caffeine and no pre-workout and no gym time and just like all your coping mechanisms are like gone, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
So you did it.
it
I'm
was
proud of you. That was a lot harder than I think most people even realize, but
I
like,
think I've learned that, and this is kind of like a new pet peeve of mine. TV and movies and TV shows make IVF look too simple.
oh
Like
yeah.
I didn't realize it until like obviously going through it, but like there'll be movies or shows where people are going through IVF and then they're magically pregnant or magically sad of something. That's not how, like, it is a very slow process and it is a very painful process. It is a lot of doctor's appointments, it's a lot of blood work, it's a lot of ultrasounds, and like you just don't see that on TV and movies.
Yeah.
Like it's
And
like,
like
oh,
the
they're either pregnant or
expectation is
sad.
like you're just supposed to like, just go through it and then like but at every increment you're told this is wrong with your body and
Hmm.
like it's like bad news all the time and then you're just like supposed to just like carry on with your normal life. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I think women who go through it are just absolutely amazing because I think it's so tough. And I don't think it's talked about enough how challenging it is because like the world doesn't stop. And like,
Yeah.
you're still going through all of this and then it's such a long waiting period. Like the patience too. Like I have a hard time waiting
Hmm.
for an Amazon package, let alone like all the
Oh,
waiting that you've had to do like since you even started this process and
yeah.
things changing all the time. Like it's so much. There's a girl on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I'm obsessed with that show. And she talks about her IVF journey on like an interview she did with Nick Vile. And it was like I'll have to send it to you because she like totally explains like the part that people don't talk about with IVF of just the emotions of
Mm.
all of the testing and all of it is like because your body's not doing something that all we're supposed to do, right? We're just supposed to like get
Yeah.
pregnant. And so I think that's so hard, but it's
I
going, it
also,
sounds like things are going in the right direction.
hmm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
every time I talk to you, I'm excited for like more news and more steps and
Well, now
when
it's
when
going to be
our
like a
when our
waiting period.
baby's coming.
I know. Now it's like a waiting period for a little bit. Now we
Yeah.
have till July 1st. That should be like when I find out like they should be
Hmm.
genetically healthy. And we don't have any, a lot of people do genetic testing if they have like pretty large, like I don't want to say large, but just known abnormalities. And
Yeah.
we both got tested and we don't have any like we have like minor abnormalities, nothing to be like
Hmm.
concerned about by any means. So
Yeah.
like it's just really making sure they're healthy and there's nothing wrong with the chromosomes in them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
but since I felt better, I got to go to a show this
Yeah.
last weekend, but it wasn't yours. Now you have to
No.
share.
But
How
we
was your
FaceTimed, which
Yes,
was it
that
was so
that
fun.
was
I was thinking
fun.
about that call today. Just like that's just part of my show day is like always like talking to you. Like you're always like one of the like you're the first person I call. But it was such a strange like format because it's new. Obviously, my first pro show, so that was a
So
little
you
bit
have to
different.
start from
But
the beginning.
start
You
from
have
the
to start
beginning.
from the beginning.
Okay, so I did the Mile High Pro on Saturday, June 7th.
Mm.
It's Thursday the 12th. I still have no stage photos, so that's why I haven't really talked about it.
Mhm.
And I was putting together a post this morning and then I just like erased it because I it sounded really negative and dark.
Oh,
But I'll explain sort of like where I'm at. But yeah, I got there a couple days early just to like adjust. Day of travel was a bit of a nightmare. Like as we were packing up the car, there was like a torrential downpour and the tornado sirens were going off. And I'm like, well, we got to get to the airport. And so we start driving. And then as I'm heading to the airport, my flight was delayed like 40 minutes or something. But then when I got to the airport, like all the security checkpoints and like all the kiosks and everything were like empty. I'm like,
hmm.
what's like going on here? I'm like trying to like check my bags. There's nobody around. And then all of a sudden they announce like all clear. And then all these people start like not like rushing, but like walking out. I guess they had like been sheltering away from all the windows while the tornado.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, they take that seriously. Okay, that's probably good. So I ended up getting in a little bit later than I expected, but I mean, I just like basically like got into my hotel and unpacked a little bit and ate and went to bed. But you know what I did? I'm so
Hmm.
mad. I don't know if I told you this. Well, I fixed it, but I was eating on the plane
Mhm.
and I had my little Hot Logic with my little, the little food warmer,
Yeah.
because I had like plugged it in at home, and then when I was waiting for my flight, I plugged in a little bit more, so it was like warm, and then I ate my like dinner basically on the plane, and then the guy next to me was like so gross. I'm just gonna say it, like he was like
You
mansplayed.
did not tell me this.
No, he was like, and I'm like little, so I'm probably allowing him a lot of space because I'm by the window and I'm like sitting like this, and his legs, like he was a large, like just a tall man with big hands,
Yeah.
and like he was taking up a lot of space. Then he fell asleep, girl, and he's like this, and
No.
mouth breathing in the direction of me, and I'm like,
Oh.
oh my God. Then I felt like the flight was taking a really long time. And Jen, who was in Salt or not Salt, oh my God, not Salt Lake City, in or
Denver.
Colorado already, she was like, I guess she's like a flight tracker on her phone or something. And she
Oh.
like knew like that there was a problem because my flight was like taking forever. They were circling above Colorado Springs because there was too many flights that were delayed that everybody like we couldn't land. And then
Yeah.
I'm at like near the back of the plane and I heard the flight attendant say like, yeah, we might have to like stop here and get fuel. And so it was
Oh.
just like, get me off this plane. And as I'm leaving
Yeah.
the plane, just trying to get out, I left my like Hot Logic underneath the seat. So that was my food warmer for the weekend. And
Oh,
because
damn.
this room didn't have microwaves, like the hotel always has microwaves, but it's usually like one or two. And then you
Hmm.
get behind like five hockey kids that are trying to make popcorn and then you're like screwed, right? So I'm in my hotel room and I realize it and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Here's where I'm the smartest person ever. Okay. So my first thought was I'm going to go on Amazon and just order another one.
Hmm.
And it was not going to be here until like Saturday. And this was
No.
Wednesday. And then I'm like, I go to close my windows and there's a Walmart not too far. I probably could have walked to it. I'm really glad I didn't. I'm like, I'm just gonna do a Walmart pickup or Walmart delivery. And they
Oh,
had
yeah.
like a little like small electric skillet, like about like yay big. It
Hmm.
was like $20 or something. I'm like, perfect. So I got that. I got some water. I got like, tea, like just a couple other things that I like had forgotten or whatever. And it was delivered the next morning, like by 7 a.m. And
Damn.
that little like electric warmer thing was like marked down to like $7. So it ended up like totally working out. And it was actually pretty good. Like when you cook on those things, like it makes everything like kind of like crispy and tasty. So like my food was
Oh,
delicious all weekend. So that was I really solved that problem. I was like,
well, fun little hack for anybody
good
listening.
job me. Yeah. And like I have a Walmart like Plus subscription or whatever because I do use it quite a bit. Like if we're on vacation, like when I go to Orlando every year with my mom for cheer, like we do a big grocery order and they just
Hmm.
deliver it. And you get like free like Paramount Plus or something, which is just one of 87 streaming services my children
Right.
use. So anyways, so that was wonderful. And even if I didn't have it, what's delivery? Like $9 or something just
Yeah,
for the
it's not.
convenience. Like I wasn't going to get a microwave because I would have just left it there. And I feel like that's super wasteful, but I packed that little thing right in my suitcase and took it home with me. So
Yeah,
yeah, any problem you have, you can fix it. So yeah,
very true.
so then Thursday we went over to Armbrust Pro Gym, awesome gym. So beautiful, so awesome. And we met Dylan Armbrust, who owns it, and he's an IFBB Pro and an IFBB Pro judge. And then he offered to look at us, me and Jen. Um, and so we didn't bring our heels or anything, but we had videos that we just showed him. And then Jen actually did have her heels, so she did pose for him a little bit. And we had some feedback, so that was nice. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
we had that athletes meeting, so it was my first like pro meeting ever. And I was like, here we go, like red carpet, and it was like really laid back. It wasn't like anything major and everybody was very friendly. And what's cool too is like as a pro, when you walk up to the table to like get your number and sign like your little paper or whatever, you shake hands with all the judges and they look you in
Oh,
the eye and you talk to them and it's like, oh, like this is really neat. Like as an amateur, like I think if you like could barely look in their direction, like it's just so
yeah.
different, right? So we did that. We took some pictures on stage. They took like a big group photo of all the bikini pros. I think
Yeah,
there
those
was
photos
like
were cool.
26 of us total, like 23 in the open, and then there was 18 in the masters, but 16 of the masters girls also did open. Um, so yeah, so that was Friday, and then Saturday was weird because the pros didn't start until noon, and it started with men's physique. So my makeup appointment was at like 9 a.m., which was weird. Like I'm used to
Yeah.
like,
Four
getting
o'clock.
my like yeah, being backstage at that point, and then Jen was competing in the NPC show that started at 8:30, and I completely missed it. I mean, I was getting my hair and makeup done while she was on stage, which was a bummer, but she was totally understanding and she totally did awesome. She did fit model. And so then I did all that, went backstage and then waited for like every one of those men's physique guys had a routine. And then
Yep.
here's what they also did at this show. And I have to check with like the promoter of the next show that I'm doing to find out if it's the same. But like, so they had say like 20, I don't know the exact number, like 20 guys in men's physique open. And then
Hmm.
however many of those were masters. A lot of masters do open. And so let's say there was 15 of them. All 15 of them get to do their routine again.
Oh,
So like, and then they do a lot of comparisons and then they
yeah.
call back confirmation of the top five or whatever. So like men's physique itself took over an hour. And
Wow.
yeah, so then when they started open bikini and there's 23 girls, I mean, I didn't even get called back to like back back to the backstage until like after 2. I had been pumping up forever. So I because I just didn't
That's
know.
nuts.
And I
Yeah.
think that might have hurt me a little bit. I my posing was the proudest thing is that my posing was good. Like
Yeah.
I took my time. I felt really, really good, really confident out there. But like it was a lot of waiting. Like it was a
Hmm.
lot. And I'm used to waiting, but I still feel like you kind of know, I don't know, a little bit more about what time you're going
You
on
wouldn't
stage. So
expect one whole division to take an hour though. Like that's very unexpected. Like very,
it
very.
was a lot of guys. And it
Yeah.
was bikini was a lot too. So if you think open bikini went before masters bikini,
Hmm.
I mean, they were supposed to be starting the night show for the amateurs at 3 p.m. and we were still on stage. So by that point, it was awards. And then what they did for awards was they just had the top five come back
Hmm.
because it went right into like um, pro
There was no
finals.
gap. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's no
So
gap for the pros. There's little gap for
yeah. So
NPC.
once bikini was done, then they brought out the men's physique guys. So prejudging, I did my routine, and then they brought us all on stage, and it was such a big group that like I was like I couldn't even get a spot on the side. I was like trying to like inch in between, but then when they pulled out the top five, then things spread out. So I got second call out. Um, I ended up in 10th place out of 18, and I'm totally happy. That's where I landed. Like I
Yeah.
feel like okay, that was like a good start, middle of the pack, and it wasn't perfect. Again, I think I came in a little softer that and I don't think it was a conditioning thing. I think it was a fullness thing. I think it was I think I've talked about this on the podcast before about like I generate momentum show by show, and I get
Yeah.
like a better look as my body goes through the process. So I backstage I just felt a little bit like I just couldn't really get a pump, but I think I had been pumping too long. I probably was way behind on food too, because it was tough to
Have
like keep
you?
on top of check-ins with James while I'm
Mhm.
backstage, and then I didn't expect to be backstage 2 hours before.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, have you ever done a show? I can't even imagine you ever doing a show where you go on that late. Because you've always like obviously as an NPC competitor, we would never go on that late.
No, I mean when I did Masters Nationals, like they do, wellness first.
Hmm.
And bikini doesn't even have to go backstage until like 10. And then they start to kind of go in descending order. So like 60, 50, 55, 45, 40. So like I think, 11 a.m. is my typical time for like when I was on stage and at national shows. I mean, DC last year, when I did that, the NPC show, they did all the women in the evening. So it didn't start till
Oh
4.
yeah.
So that was an evening show. Um, and I don't think my body looks as good. Like my waist was really tight, like, but
Hmm.
I hadn't eaten much. And I think that hurt me a little bit because by the afternoon, I probably I've just been, I mean, really all day, just like little rice cakes here and there and just not, I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't behind on water or anything like that.
You just probably
I,
didn't feel as full as you could have been.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so and of course, like we don't ever like really load during peak week, so it's not like I had a reserve of carbs. And we had when we saw me in the lighting in Denver, and then after the flight, like I didn't have my
Hmm.
glutes were just not as um like tight as they could be, and so he had kind of pulled me back a little bit on food on Thursday, because remember I woke up Friday morning and I was like I look terrible, like I just
Yeah.
felt really flat. I filled
Hmm.
out on Friday, but then I think throughout the day on Saturday I flattened out again, so it's fine. Like I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference. And again, I think the hardest thing for me is I don't have any stage photos. I have a video that Kate took because
Yeah,
one
she
of
took a couple.
our friends, who she's one of the coaches here at Momshell, she was in Denver and was present and took videos, but it's from the audience, so it's of the comparisons, and then there's of my routine, so I can see like okay, like I hit all my angles, like I didn't drop my glutes or anything like that, but I still can't, I need to like be able to analyze all of it. And so
Yeah.
that's been really hard for me because, coming home and not having a medal or a trophy. It's the first time in a real long time.
Hmm.
And I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way. Like, this is why I didn't make that post this morning, because I didn't want to be like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so ungrateful. And meh, 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 meh. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, as a human being, if you could just imagine, this, like, things that might cause disappointment. And certainly, I know my age. I know I'm 45. I know I should be grateful for X, Y, and Z. And I totally am. Has nothing to do with that. But it was sort of like, oh, like I'm going to be
Hmm.
greeted by my family at the airport with nothing to show. But the thing is that I feel like they understood. Like even my daughter who's 9, she's like, well, it was your first pro show. I
Aw.
mean, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, you're right, but like I don't have a photo with a medal around my neck to be like, here's how it went. Like I can't like
Yeah.
here's how it went. Like I just don't. So but I don't want anybody to think I'm upset either. Like I'm not like, oh, I fucked up and it was bad and I did it. Like if you didn't follow my story, you literally don't know what happened that day. And I don't feel like I have to answer to anybody, but I just feel like just like the normal sort of post show. Like I think
Yeah.
even when you win, you have post show blues. And I'm not post show done. I have 4 more shows. So
Mhm.
that's been really tough, I think, the last couple of days of just kind of like, you get home, you have this like all the dopamine of the weekend and this like amazing day, and then celebration with the family on Sunday. And then Monday, you're just like thrust back into prep. Your food's low. You want to eat everything in sight because you had a cheat meal. And then you're like, oh, I didn't do as well as I don't know that I did it I don't think I did worse than I thought I would do. I think I
No,
expected to
I
place
think
outside of the top 5. I did. Like,
I think
not
it was
putting
just
myself
so
down.
unknown. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was just so unknown. I think going into the show, I think well, okay. I think going into the show, you were like you said, Friday was a lot. Friday was not
You
the
had to talk
greatest.
me off a ledge, girl. I was like,
It just
I
wasn't
suck.
but it just wasn't the greatest. And it's one of those things where it's like you've been competing for so long that you've known what to expect for so long, for
Hmm.
over a decade now. And now you're in a place where you have zero expectation, but at the same time, you don't want to let anybody down, but you're not really letting anybody down. But you feel
Yeah.
like you're letting people down by not posting, by not bringing home a medal, by not placing top 5 or first or whatever. And you feel like that. But it's just so new, and I think you're the type of person that you just expect so much of yourself. You strive so hard. You're a very disciplined athlete and a disciplined client that it's very hard to be able to be like, well, what do I look like? How did I really do? Because you don't have stage photos and you don't have videos or
Yeah.
anything yet. So like it's one of those things where it's a lot of things combined together right now for you, right? It's not
Yeah.
one thing, it's multiple things going on. And I think you touched on something really important that I don't think NPC athletes ever, I should say ever, don't experience often. NPC athletes almost always get a medal.
Hmm.
Almost always. And
Yeah.
I just
I have some 6th place medals up there, and that was
exactly.
last.
So exactly.
Yeah.
NPC athletes almost
Yeah.
always get a medal. So if you think about it, you have been getting medals for over a decade at like almost every show. I want
I
to say
can't
like
think of a show I
95.
didn't get
I
one.
was about to say
Like,
like there might have been a
well,
national I
think
don't
about
even
it.
know if there was a national show that you didn't place top
Okay, yeah,
5.
there was. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
a
that's the
couple
only thing I
national
was
shows. But
so
like
the
I've done
national
26 shows, and this trophy shelf over here has got so many. Like,
exactly.
you you know,
So
it's just a trophy though.
I think NPC athletes when they go to nationals and they're not they don't know they go to
Yeah.
nationals and then they don't place because you don't get a medal if you're not top 5. And when you don't place, or again if you place as nationals and then you get your pro card and you go to pro stage, you're going against, like you said, 18 girls. Only top 5 are going to get that, and those top 5 girls have possibly been doing this for as long
Yeah.
as you've been competing, maybe. Like you just don't know, so like it just makes it so unknown, and there's so
And I
much
think
to
like
it.
you might be listening to this and you may have done, a couple of bigger shows and not gotten a medal, and you probably think I sound like a huge brat. But I think what I really just want people to understand is just like anyone who works really really hard for something, like even if they're aware that they're putting themselves into a big, like they're like going into a higher level of competition, like you can prepare yourself. Like I feel like I was accurately aware of going into the show and realizing like it would be a miracle if I placed top 5. Not putting myself down though. That's the other thing. I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, she's just like searching for attention. Like, it's like not about that. I'm
Yeah.
aware that this is a whole different ball game. I mean, these girls are there's girls on that stage that have been to the Olympia. There's girls on that stage who are already qualified for the Masters Olympia. This is a higher level. I was aware that it was going to be tough. I think again, the hardest part for me is I left the show with feedback from the head judge, which was um, build your shelf. And that's the pretty much the feedback everyone always gets. But I think for me it's like, well, how much? Because I don't know what I
Yeah.
looked like on stage. And like I took so many pictures over that trip, like in the middle of the day, after food, before I went to bed, when I woke up, fasted, tan, no tan, good lighting, shit lighting, backstage. I have so many photos, and I'm telling you, girl, every single one looks different because of the just vast things that your body kind of goes through throughout the day. Like you manipulate carbs and then this happens. And then you wake up dry and then you look like this. And so I have a lot of data, but I just don't have the most important data, which is the
The
stage photos.
photos.
And more importantly, the comparison photos, because I said this all along. I am short. I am 5 foot. And the April, our lovely friend who we love April,
Yeah.
she was the winner of the master's class.
Hmm.
She's quite a bit taller than me. So I didn't stand next to her, but I did stand next to some other like tall-ish girls.
Yeah.
How do I look? Are my legs as big? Do my legs need to come up? Do I need to turn my feet out a little bit so my legs are a little bit bigger? Do I need less hair so that I don't look top heavy? Like I just don't know. And all I'm going off of is basically like the cycle in my head of like, oh, I must have like gotten flat. Maybe I'm not flat. Maybe I'm going to look at the pictures and be like, no, you were fine, right?
Right.
But when you get, not when you don't win and then you don't have photos and then you get feedback, you're just kind of like, I don't know, it's just been a lot. So I think the crash of dopamine of like, and now I'm starving again. Like, I'd gotten used to being hungry, and then Saturday night we had some drinks and some food, and then Sunday some drinks and some food, and then Monday back on plan. And now of course it's Thursday. All that extra food is gone. And
Hmm.
I'm just like grumbling belly and feeling a little
Well,
bit
in
all of all
that,
the feels.
well, and with saying that, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now that we've both done our updates, we wanted to have a chance to talk about not necessarily post-show blues, but post-show expectations and things that almost everybody goes through after show. And it just hits everybody a little differently just because
Mhm.
it's you might have a show back to back, you might have a show a couple weeks later, you might be going into reverse, but there is something that goes on backstage into the next few days after you like backstage, step on stage, the few days after that, there's a lot of feelings and there's a lot of hormones and emotions that go on between those time frames. And I just feel like we were talking about some people just are not prepared for, it's not it's not talked about a lot
Yeah.
because it's not the nicest thing to talk about, and I feel like that's why people don't talk about it a lot because sometimes it can be kind of just negative. And you and I both are positive people and we shine lights on as many things as we can. And we're very grateful and all of those things. But at the end of the day, like there is negativity that does come with
Hmm.
everything. So
And
there's
I think
negativity
there's
that comes with
denial,
this.
like people
Yeah.
thinking it won't happen to them, or like
Yeah.
experienced athletes that it has happened to, and like it won't happen to me again. But like, I think what you're trying to say is that like this is like a very much of just a normal part of the process.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes people can feel like, oh my God, how long is this going to last? Like, and then maybe also like feeling like they can't talk to anybody about it because maybe they think it makes them weak, or maybe they think no one's going to understand.
Or they're
Or
embarrassed.
maybe, yeah, or their significant other might be like, well, you're never competing again because if this is how you feel, then I don't like to see you like this. So
Yeah.
there's like so many things. I think like I was venting to my husband this morning because of just like all of that I sort of
Hmm.
brought up of just like kind of what my body has kind of basically experienced over the course of a week, like fly across the country. And I've trained for this basically 19 years, and then this is the outcome, and so many questions, and then gearing up to do it again in another 2.5 weeks. And trying to do all of that and be positive, and while I have a family, and I have kids, and it's summer break and
Time
a
doesn't stop.
business and all this stuff going on. It's really overwhelming. And then,
Hmm.
and I think like I always want to be positive because that's just who I am. Like I'm the type of person, like if I'm suffering and struggling, like you'll know, like I'll talk to you for sure. You'll
Yeah.
know, like people close to me will know, but I don't put it out there just because I just feel like it's personal, and I'm not trying to be fake or phony, but this podcast has been great because it's been a place for me to like be really real. And
Yeah.
so hopefully if you're listening to this, and I'm probably not making a lot of sense. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place, but just so you can sort of at least know that like this experience, it's different for everybody, but I think it's very normal to sort of have I don't want to say depression, but just sort of like a down place. Like I feel like the dopamine is like up here on show day.
Like
It's like,
manic episodes. Yeah.
yeah. And then you like, you're celebrating and you're, oh my gosh, I did it. I accomplished my goal, whatever. And then it's almost like instead of like dropping a baseline, you drop like below baseline.
Hmm.
And then you're like, here I am like, I'm training for another show. Like, I barely have enough like motivation to get myself off of this couch today, right? So like then you just want to try to get back to that baseline. And so it's a really tough spot to be in. So I get it. And I don't
Yeah.
know what the solution is except just like roll with it. Like that's just it. Like
I feel like
went to the
there's
gym and just,
mhm.
work it out. I talked to you and I talked to Brian and I feel like it's getting better. I think I'm starting to kind of level out a little bit, but you know, it's a lot.
I feel like it's very hard to make posts though, like you said, like you made a whole long post and deleted it because it's too negative. There's no tone. This
Yeah.
podcast allows for a tone, facial expressions. It allows for people to hear what we're saying instead of read what we're saying, and they take it a different way. And that's why I
Yeah.
think it's like
Yeah.
really also important to like explain what you're feeling sometimes when it's like that. Because I know I struggled with that many times. Like my last show wasn't my last show, but the show I did in March last year, like I placed last and like but it's like of course I still got a medal and everything and it was really hard. It was a hard pill for me to swallow because I loved how I
Yeah.
looked and I was like, and I wasn't in a great headspace. I was like kind of bummed, but then it's like I talked to you, I took hotel photos. I had a lot of fun. I
Hmm.
still use those hotel photos. Those are great.
That's
Like
what I told you. I was like, girl, you look hot as heck. Go
but
back to that
that's
hotel room and take some hot, sexy photos.
exactly.
You look amazing.
So it's
Yeah.
in this sport, it's never like you're always positive, you're always grinding, you're always like go, go, go. And I think like when it's peak week and then check-ins, it's like, okay, if anybody watching on YouTube and Spotify, it's like peak week, check-ins, show day, show day, show day, show day, Sunday, the great food from the
Yeah.
pump, you're riding this high, and then Monday maybe some more food, and then you start
And
coming
then
back
you just
down and you
plummet.
just plummet because you do have to get back on plan. You do have to
Hmm.
get back on your reverse. You can't just eat, fun food. I hate like
No.
whatever because you'll get that's when you have post-show blues and you have like a terrible reverse and you don't feel
Yeah.
good. You physically feel like shit. You mentally feel like shit. And it's just terrible. So when you're experiencing that, like you said, you find those things like that you can at least attach to when you feel like shit. You have a person to talk to. So we have each other.
Hmm.
You have the gym to go to. Even if you don't feel like going, like still go. Like just
Yeah.
just
Get your
go.
music on. It feels good when you get
Just go.
going.
Yeah. That's what I always tell clients, like going through reverse, like obviously like take a break Sunday, you're usually pretty sore from the show. But after that, like get back to the gym and
Yeah.
get moving, like move around, and it's when you come down, not just mentally, but that also from all the food. So from all the
Hmm.
yummy food and the yummy drinks, like your blood sugar is
Yeah.
coming down, like you're losing that food is being digested and it's getting out of your system and your hormones are going to want more of it. Your taste buds are going to want more of it. And you have to put yourself in check because you have a show in 2.5 weeks. You have a show in 4 weeks. You also don't want to go up 10 pounds in 5 days. And for
And you
those
don't
lists,
look like you do today. The way that you look is not the way you're going to look in 2 weeks. Like
mhm,
it's not even like real data because you have travel, water manipulation, a whole peak week, a whole show day, a cheat meal, maybe another cheat meal. Like, so I think that's what can be really hard too, is just to kind of not say like look the other way, but like, you just got to get back on the horse,
mhm,
and I think like that is where like I think this is we touched on this at our last episode about like doing back-to-back shows,
mhm.
and I don't know that I forgot what this felt like, but I've been through this so many times because so many seasons I've done consecutive shows like this, and so I think this was the thing that I downplayed of like the experience, and like I think you had asked me, did I feel this way last year? And after I did DC, I was like, oh, I gotta get leaner. I knew that. And so I was like, yeah, like let's go, like I
Yeah.
was really motivated to like and knew I was going from basically like a high level regional show to like nationals, and I was like, bring it. So I felt like almost I was very sure. I had stage photos. I knew what I needed
Yeah.
to
I
do.
was about to
I
say you had
Yeah.
photos. Like it
Yep.
was
Yeah, and I knew I had an appropriate amount of time to do it in, and so it was just different than this experience of like do I show up the same? Like, what can you do different? Like, and so there's just a lot. I just have a lot of that, but yeah, I think it's a really normal experience, and I think if you are a new competitor and you haven't experienced it, like I'm not trying to scare you or whatever. Like I'm okay, you know. It's just like yesterday was probably like just not I should and I just went to bed and slept it off and I felt a little better this morning and but not to scare you, I think just like knowing that it's normal and also like it goes away. Like I feel like a different
Yeah.
person than I did yesterday. I think just because I had cleared like some of that imbalance out of my body and just am back in a routine and whatnot. And
Mhm.
then it'll just keep getting better from here. But it's all part of it. And I think also like, okay, you could like play it safe and not do this and like say, "Phew, I don't know about that post show experience, and I know somebody and did it, whatever." I'm like, okay, well, that's how you choose to live your life. But like
Mhm.
to me, like this is like living. Like this is that
Yeah.
excitement. It's worth it. Like I'm sitting here like in my feelings yesterday and like feeling all down and everything, but like I just had the most amazing weekend. Like it
Yeah.
was amazing. Like I'm telling you, like it was so fun. And I shared the stage with Ashley Kaltwasser, and my hair and makeup was on freaking
You
point.
were stunning.
It was such a fight, so much fun with Jen. I mean, I had a freaking blast. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here like, wait, um, but I just think that it is just part of it. Just comes with it, right? Like for every like extreme, there's like the other
Yeah.
side of it. And I think as I
Well,
go through the season, I think it will get better because I will, know what to expect and then I think also like I probably will strategize my like cheat meal. I think that was like also like that cheat meal was over the top
I don't even know what
because
you didn't even tell me
oh, I
what you
mean,
I
what did
just
I not eat? It was
okay,
like
I
a
was gonna say because
food tour of St.
we just
Louis. Oh my God.
FaceTimed. So since I wasn't able to come to your show, I was in Omaha for the NPC, what is Duel of Championships with two of our clients. And it was one of our clients' first show and one of my other clients as a fit model. She did bikini last year. Both had a great time, both had a blast. But I got to see Shayla Hunt, because
Yeah.
she was the
Big
trophy
friend of
girl
the
for that
show.
show. Yeah.
Mhm.
So before our show before finals started, we were able to FaceTime you, and you were a little happy little lamb drinking your Alani or a Celsius with a straw.
Yes. I had an
No, it
energy
was so
drink
fun.
and candy, and then that night we
Yeah.
went and had like a bunch of appetizers and some wine. And then when I came home, I had just like, like a bunch of just little snacks that I had kind of been craving. We went to dinner that night. But I think next time, I think I'll probably just clean things back up a little bit sooner because I think that was like tough um, on Monday to just be like, whoa, basically for the last like 36 hours, I've put nothing good in my body. That's not true. When I was in the hotel before I got on the plane, I had like my like normal breakfast. But I said this before, like I hadn't had one single cheat meal since like
Yeah.
February. So now I feel like, ooh, like
You
that
itched.
was, I,
You
I
itched to
scratched the
scratch a
itch.
little. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
scratched the
totally.
itch a little too hard, but it's
Yeah, and
done.
that was the same last year. Like I think after DC, I kind of went crazy, and then
Yeah.
after Universe, like I think well, you and I
You
went to
were good.
dinner.
You were fine. Yeah, because you came
Yeah, and then
back.
I
That's
was
right. That was
yeah,
it. I was
I
saying
was
because
right back on the next day.
after Universe, because we shared everything. That's what we
Yeah,
did for the other for our
this is what
coaches
was
dinner.
weird though about this time. I felt I just couldn't get full, and I
Oh.
think that's also because I really feel like on Saturday I hardly ate. Like
Mm.
it just was, and I guess I think also like it was a busy morning. Like I tried to sleep in as long as I could, which was 5:30, and
That's so
then
hard. Yeah.
I got up and did my little mini photo shoot with, you got to take all your pictures and everything,
Yeah.
send them into your coach, wait for feedback, and then I got instructions on what to eat, and then I had to check in an hour and a half later. Then I went and got my tan, So I really just think throughout the morning of all that busy stuff, my food slipped, so I was absolutely starving.
Well,
So
I
I
can't
think
wait
that's
to
part of it.
see what you look like in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a different suit. And
I
then
loved
I'll
your
just
suit.
yeah,
I always
oh,
love
it
your suits.
was it was perfect for the backdrop because it was a
Hmm.
purple backdrop. And so I ended up wearing the purple suit. And then I have a different one for Indy, and I'm excited. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to just taking in all these experiences. And I mean, I really feel like I said this before, like, oh, I get so nervous on stage. And I like over the last like month, I've really conditioned myself to like just feel at home up there, like
Oh, that's
preparing
awesome.
myself for walking out and seeing the judges and like, calming down, slowing down, like all those things. Like as an amateur, like you only get like 15 seconds and you really rush, 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 but
Yeah.
you get all the stage time. So I just took my time, really sat into those poses and really like just held myself longer. And I felt really, really good up there. So I'm excited to do that again. And of course, the show is the Indie Pro, which
Hmm.
our friend Jamie Sterling is promoting. So I'm really excited to just be a part of that. And there'll be so many girls that, we've got girls from our team that are doing the amateur
Hmm.
portion, and then also just people that I've met. Nicole is competing there.
Oh,
April
cool.
will be there. Also, oh my gosh, Sarah Bornemus is also going to
It'll
be
be
there
so
too.
fun.
Yep, she's been on our podcast. So it'll be like, just a really
Little
great.
Bikini After Babies like get together.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it'll be so fun. Oh,
So, one thing I think we also wanted to talk about too was like other people backstage because I will say I didn't experience this at my show. Everybody was lovely. Like everybody was so nice and it wasn't like a party back there, but like people were not nasty or like
yeah.
throwing shade or whatever, but we've had a few athletes on our team that have experienced maybe just one or two like just not great vibes like backstage at a show.
Hmm.
And so we kind of wanted to like just to talk about that because
Yeah.
I think that it's important to like how do you handle it and you know to if you know what to expect basically.
Yeah, I feel like so to give you listeners some insight, if you haven't been backstage yet, if you haven't competed in a show or just to have access to backstage. So the people that are backstage are not just athletes. You're going to have your tanning crew back there. You're going to have anybody who wants to pay for a trainer's pass. So any,
Coaches.
yeah, you can have, so like I've seen coaches, parents, siblings, boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, friends, like sometimes when you're backstage, I will say you don't technically need anybody backstage, but if you feel like you need somebody backstage or want somebody backstage, like they pay extra and they get a special badge and then they can come backstage. So us trainers usually do that. We'll usually pay the extra so we can go backstage and be with our clients. We also get good seatings to be in front stage. So with that being said, you may experience backstage, and I'm going to speak for females only because boys are completely different. Boys are so different.
Yeah, yeah.
So, girls,
Let's
most
just talk about the women. We don't have enough
yeah.
time to talk about the men
So,
backstage.
girls are genuinely like you are nice to each other, like you are kind of cheering each other on. Like if something's wrong, most of the time other women are going to help you. Like if there's like a suit
Mhm.
untied, something, whatever. There is a chance that you could experience other trainers, other athletes, maybe, sizing you up, maybe being like, oh, you're gonna beat her, or oh, you got this, because they're trying to like gear up their clients. So this can happen backstage, and it can be, some people, depending on your personality, it can be laughable to be like, oh, this is stupid, but it can be intimidating and it can be hurtful. I will tell you, it's the dumbest thing ever because I mean, it's just flat out the dumbest thing ever because
Yeah,
I can't
because
tell
it
you
doesn't matter.
it doesn't
Like,
do anything. Yeah, it
no.
doesn't matter. I've seen girls that have never competed at shows before and have no idea what to expect look the best on stage and just beat everybody out of the water. But backstage, she looks like an everyday person you wouldn't even like blink twice at? So I feel like when you're a new competitor or like your coach just has maybe not the greatest mentality or support that they should have, then it turns into something like that, which can happen if you start feeling that way or start being like, oh, well, they're talking about me, or oh, why are they looking at me? I will tell you, just laugh at them. Like, just seriously, it's so pointless and it's so ridiculous because you have no idea what's going to go on stage. Nobody does. Nobody knows what you're going to look like that day with that package, with that light and the tan and the makeup.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't matter. It doesn't even
it
matter how many
doesn't.
shows you've done. The judges don't care about any of that. They don't care how many Instagram followers you have. I mean,
Yeah.
I
They don't
think
even
what's
recognize you.
yeah,
Like,
it doesn't matter. And now you get people backstage and they have like a camera crew with them and you're just like, "Oh man, like they
my
have all these YouTube followers. I'm sure they're
uh,
going to win the show." they don't always win the show. So
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter. But
people will have a whole crew. Like, I mean, 4 or 5 people for like one girl having like their whole gear of like you said, camera equipment, all their stuff ready, carrying their stuff, wearing like swag, all matching, and they won't win. Like it's so ridiculous. It's so pretentious too. So like I've just seen the most ridiculous stuff backstage for, amateurs. Like I'm an amateur. Like when you get to a pro level like you are at, it gets different. Everybody's still nice, everybody's still friendly, like you said, but at the same time, like everybody's also competing against everybody. So
yeah,
it might,
it's a competition.
it's a
Like
competition.
you're
It's intense.
competing. And I think it's like it's not personal. Like if
No.
people are acting that way, they that's how they're dealing with their emotions that day. But I mean, I think what can be hard is maybe some people are so far removed from their days as an athlete, or maybe they have never played a sport before. But I remember shit talking at cheerleading competitions and people being like, good luck to you, like just shitty stuff. It happens all the time. It's a
Hmm.
sport. I think what is hard is when it's your physique and it's your
Yeah.
body. It makes you a bit more vulnerable, but just remember, like, that's all, like, it's all part of it. And everybody wants to win. And guess what? They can't win if you win. So they
Yeah.
really want you to win? Like, so I just think you have to get in the zone and you know who your people are. Like I sort of lead with the idea that everybody's a good person, but I can also tell when somebody's a bit standoffish and they might just be nervous. Like there was one girl, that when they took all of the open pros away, there was only three of us back there left, just kind of like pumping up. And we were like, I was here, one was here, and one was here. And we were like kind of looking at each other and we started to kind of drift a little bit closer together and we really weren't talking much. But once we all did our routines, we're all like, oh, thank God, and like it's like we were just feeling the pressure. So
Hmm.
I think like you just can't take it personal. Oh, they don't like me. Well, also who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But I think you just I think know that you're probably gonna make amazing friendships backstage, but you
Hmm.
might also go to a show where like, you're in, I don't know, I'm gonna just pick a city out of this. Like, you're in Detroit, Michigan. I don't know because I don't know anybody from there, right?
Yeah.
And they've got some big ass team, like the Detroit Bomb Squad or something. I don't know. And
What a bad
they
name.
got yeah. This could actually happen. And they got 45 of the best athletes, right? Everybody's bang, and everybody looks good, right? Well,
And they
that
have the
coach.
loudest cheers.
Yes, that coach wants everyone to win. If you're looking good, you're probably in the way of one of their athletes doing well. They don't want to see you win. That could be really intimidating, but who cares? Again, the judges are don't know who trains with who and whatnot. You just go out there and work your best stage presence. You've worked really hard. You just can't let that stuff get to you. I think that's
Yeah.
maybe the best solution, or just drown out the sound. Like, put your headphones on, like get in the zone, and you just be ready for anything really. I will say more often than not it's a positive experience, but I've had some people get like really upset about the energy backstage, and you just have to center yourself and not focus on it.
Yeah, and you can't compare yourself to the Instagram photos of people backstage.
Oh
You can't
yeah.
compare, like, you can't be like in prep, getting ready to step on stage, and then look at like the previous shows and look at all these amazing photos. Because again, you can look at stage photos, that's great. But when you look like NPC News Online stage photos, but when you look at people's Instagram photos from being at shows, they're going to have, like you just said, like you're going to take all these perfect photos with all these different lightings, with all these different things. And if you have to pick one to post, you're going to post the best one. But that's not like
Yeah.
what necessarily you may look like on stage. So don't get freaked out and be like, oh my God, these girls just competed last weekend and they look like pros. And like, I don't know how I'm going to hold a candle to them at the show I'm about to compete in a week or two. So you don't want to do that. You want to really, like you said, get in the zone, be really proud of your progress, lean into your
Mhm.
coach. Like your coach will have the experience, the knowledge, and really just trust everything that you've been doing, all the meal prepping you've been doing, all the training you've been
Yeah.
doing, all the posing you've been doing, and just like go rock it on stage. And that
Yeah.
is the
Enjoy that day.
exactly. They enjoy the princess bodybuilding day because it's the day you get all
Yeah.
the glam and the sparkle.
I know. You have
Yeah.
to enjoy the day. I will say, like, that is something that I always enjoy the experience. Like, even when I placed last in both of my classes, like, I still, I worked so hard. I didn't, I wasn't going to let anything sort of ruin that day.
Yeah.
So, um, and one day we'll do an episode about that. That was like 2022 or 2023 when I did Clash. and I
Hmm.
had all those gut issues and ended up like just it was my worst
We've
placing
talked
ever.
about it on
And
and off.
yeah, yeah. And then I use that a lot in coaching to talk to people about like, that experience. And I think I've let it go because that going into like I took off like, a whole year after that. And then when I got back on stage again, that was my last stage experience. And so to like be like, okay, I know I've done the work. I'm better than I was then. Like that was a
Yeah.
one-off, like that can carry you too. But at the end of the day, this you might do one show and never do one again, and you just want to enjoy the experience. And again, you'll always meet people. Like Jen and I made so many friends at this show. Like we met girls at the gym, we met people backstage, like, and then when the makeup artist like shared my photos, like I got
Hmm.
all these new friends that I met there that I didn't know who they were, but they found me like, oh, I saw you at the show, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's what you make it. And so
Hmm.
I just people have a stanky attitude. I just like let them have
Yeah.
it's whatever. That's what they need to do on that day. But it can also be, hey, you got a rice cake, or oh, let me tuck your tag in, or whatever, right?
Yes.
So,
It is more of
you'll
that
find
than
your people.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
You really will. Well, we're
yeah,
just about at an hour, so what a great update.
yeah.
Like, we
I
both had like
know.
two totally different experiences and two totally different things go on in our lives, and it's just insane.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's already June. Like, it's nuts.
it'll be like, and this episode will come out next week. I'll be almost in peak week for the next one. So we'll definitely keep you guys up to speed on what's
Yeah.
going on,
I
and
can't wait to see your next show because it will be completely different from this last show. So
well, we'll see if maybe we'll finally have pictures from this show by then.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and don't
Okay.
forget to
Yes.
like, subscribe, follow on any
Share with your
platform you're listening
friends.
to. Yes, and share with your people. It will help. The more you share with your people, you may find more people, and you may create
Yeah.
a bigger group of, like-minded
Yes.
people like you. So,
100%.
right. All right. Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.